You love teaching, but by the end of the day, you're exhausted. And it's not just a physical exhaustion, there's something different with teacher tired, right? This is what I call the daily teacher drain, when the constant demands of teaching leave you mentally, emotionally, and physically depleted. The good news, there are ways to combat it so that you can keep showing up as the inspiring teacher that you want to be and enjoy your teaching. Hey friends, welcome to Enjoy Teaching Again, a podcast for teachers who love teaching but need a little inspiration to bring the joy back. I'm your host, Elizabeth Peterson, classroom teacher, arts integration specialist, and your guide to making teaching meaningful, fun, and creative again. I know your teaching days are tough with disengaged students, battling behaviors, and going home each day feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. But together, we can change that. I can't wait to share with you some creative ways to engage your students, build those important connections, and teach with creativity, confidence, and purpose. It's time for you to enjoy teaching again. So locate that cold coffee of yours, grab your favorite pen, I know you have one, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. It's time to get inspired. So what is the daily teacher drain and why does it happen? Well, part of it is the relentless pace that teachers are expected to be working at, right? You're managing behaviors every single day. Sometimes it seems constantly throughout the day. You're lesson planning and trying to keep ahead of what you actually need to teach your students at any given time or any given day. There are meetings that you have to attend. There's paperwork that you need to do, emails that you have to keep up with, conferences, grading. There's just so much that has to do with this job. And if you're like so many teachers that I talk to, sometimes it feels like every year there's more and more that's put on top of our plates. And then there's the high expectations. Teachers feel the pressure to just do it all and do it so well and perfectly. And if that's you, if you feel like you need to be like a superhero in your teaching position, I want you to go back when you're done with this episode. I want you to go back to the last episode where I talked about how we teachers have that pressure to feel like we need to be superheroes. And that's just not the case. It's not fair. It's not what is actually a reality. Then there's the emotional weight of this job. You know, you see so much in the students in front of you, and you carry a lot of your students' struggles inside yourself as well. And let's face it, so many of us teachers feel responsible for every student's success. We want them to be successful, and we strive and we struggle and we try so hard to get students to be successful. And sometimes that causes so much emotional weight. And then, of course, there's the issue of boundaries, or I should say, the lack of boundaries. So many teachers are staying late, taking work home, coming in early, responding to emails at all hours of the day and night. And setting boundaries is going to be one of the number one things that you probably will want to make sure you have control over, that you have a good handle on, is what I really want to say. And we'll be talking about boundaries as this podcast keeps going. So make sure you subscribe so that we can continue conversations specifically about boundaries. That is something really huge and something that we can actually get control over. This is such a huge part of the work I love doing with teachers inside of SEAL Teacher Academy. Take Stacy G, for example. She was right where you might be, tired, overwhelmed, on the brink of burnout, and searching for a way to feel like herself again in her own classroom. Through SEAL, Social, Emotional, Artistic Learning, she found strategies that didn't just help her students, but also helped herself rediscover her own joy in teaching. Here's what she said. I love the flow of new ideas happening and the inner calm that is giving me strength to deal with the tough spots. It's all coming from the work in this course. Let's face it, those tough days, they are going to come, but how you're able to handle them, that's the key. And when you can learn some simple ways to defeat the daily teacher drain, you can rid yourself of teacher overwhelm and even defeat burnout. Let's not waste another moment and get right into it. So let's take a look at 4 ways that you can actually defeat the daily teacher drain, okay? The first way is to actually recognize what is draining you. You know, every teacher is different. We all carry a little bit of a different weight in terms of what kind of things really affect us. So reflect on which parts of your day are leaving you feeling most depleted. Is it getting to school on time? Is it having everything prepared for, your morning or your classes? Is it taking too much stuff home? Is it, this may sound horrible, but is it caring too much about some of your students, knowing what kind of things they might be going home to, or knowing what kinds of things are stressing them out? And then I want you to think, after you've kind of discovered what is it that actually drains you, what is in your control and what is not. This is another topic that I've talked about on the podcast. I'm not sure exactly what podcast number. I'll link it in the show notes. But I want you to really think about what kind of things do you have control of and what things do you not. And you need to start thinking about how you can remove some of those things that you do not have control over off your plate so that you can focus on the things that you do. The second thing I want you to think about on how you can really defeat the daily teacher drain is setting a realistic boundary. And maybe that's something like not working late every night. Maybe pick just one day to leave school on time if you're the kind of teacher who's constantly finding yourself, staying late and doing work. It's okay also to say no to some extra responsibilities, especially if they don't align with your current priorities. So be thinking about that. What is important to you, and how can you maybe set a boundary and say no to certain things? You don't have to be on a certain committee, or maybe you don't have to, volunteer for the fundraiser at night. So be thinking about how all of these school activities and responsibilities really fit into your priorities for this season of life. And this is a really important one because, there are so many teachers in your school who are at different spots in their lives. So everyone has their different personal lives and priorities, and you need to think about what's your personal life, what's your priority. And it's okay if your priorities don't match all the other teachers in the school. So something to think about. And again, we'll talk even more in depth about this in another episode coming up. So make sure you subscribe, okay? All right, a third way to defeat the daily teacher drain is to incorporate some small habits that are going to be beneficial to you. So think about just a small thing. And maybe you've already thought about this. Maybe these are things that you do. But here are a couple of ideas, okay? Just to kind of get you thinking. Because if something's not working, maybe you need to change things up. You never know, right? So maybe just start your day with 5 minutes of calm. And by start the day, this could be as soon as you wake up. This could also be as soon as you get into your classroom. Okay, think about that for a second. This could be, something that you do when you walk in, you sit down, you open your computer, you're about to check your email. Start the day with 1, 2, 5 minutes of calm where you take a nice deep breath. Maybe say a little affirmation or a prayer to really get yourself in the zone of being the best teacher you can be for that day. Okay, think about that. How could that work for you? You can also schedule some quote unquote reset moments throughout your day. Think about how you could, incorporate some stretching or taking a deep breath, stepping outside if possible. Now, I remember there are times during the school year that I make sure, and these are times when the weather is better and the sun is out, I will use at least half of my lunch break to go outside and take a quick walk. And boy, is that an amazing thing. And there have been years when I really was taking this, taking a walk during my lunch break really, really seriously. And I would actually walk around the school and just go at a fast pace and just kind of get my legs moving. Stretch and deep breathing, those are things you can actually incorporate into your school day with your students. So then everybody reaps the benefit of this type of reset moment. And of course, you also want to consider how you end your workday. Do you have a transition or an end of the day routine that you do to kind of just close things out so that you can actually leave school at school and be able to move on with the rest of your day and have that separation between school and home, which of course also is part of setting your own boundaries, right? All right. And then the fourth way that you can really defeat the daily teacher drain is to prioritize, again, that word prioritize, what kind of things really can benefit you. Identify what is something that recharges you. Maybe it's connecting with colleagues. Maybe it's going out once a month with a friend. Maybe it's engaging in some creative teaching strategies, or maybe it's just taking a break. What kind of things do you enjoy doing? Because it's so important that you are also making time for non-teaching passions of yours. Maybe listening to loud music in the car. That's one of mine. Maybe doing some exercises. Maybe creating art. Maybe journaling. And really focus on that. And I think that we all know that we have these things and we say that we do these things, but I want you to take a moment right now and reevaluate, are you actually doing these things in a way that changes how you're feeling? Are you really prioritizing some of these things that really can benefit you as you and actually doing them on a consistent basis? So there you go. There are the 4 ways that you can really start to combat the daily teacher drain. First, recognize what's actually draining you. Second, start setting some realistic boundaries. Third, incorporating some small habits that can really give you some benefit. And 4, prioritizing what can really help you, even outside of school. Like totally unrelated to teaching at school. Okay? Now, here's the thing. The daily teacher drain, it is real. It is real. It's unavoidable, but it doesn't have to take over your life. So I want to challenge you to choose one small action that you can do to help protect yourself, to protect your energy, your teaching. Whether it's leaving on time, saying no to something, or building in a reset moment that will reap some really good rewards for yourself. Because when you take care of yourself, you can show up as the inspiring teacher that your students need, and you can really start to enjoy teaching again. I hope this episode inspired you, encouraged you, or gave you a fresh idea to try. And if so, I would love for you to take a screenshot and text it to one of your teaching buddies. I'm so grateful that you landed here with me today, and it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a review over on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode. This is Elizabeth Peterson reminding you to get inspired so you can be inspiring to your students and enjoy teaching again.